Hello and welcome to Harry Shoots People. This is going to be my photography channel to showcase any projects I'm doing with photography and also to just post whatever I find interesting about cameras and photography as a whole. So I thought for a first video I would just maybe showcase my camera collection to show you guys what cameras I shoot with and the kind of images that they produce. This is the Minolta Riva AF35. I started shooting with this almost 4 years ago. Just after shooting a couple of disposables I realised I wanted an automatic point and shoot camera, so I picked up this. It was very reliable. I'll show you a couple of the images that it took on screen now. I used this solidly for about a year. As you can see, there's an awful lot of tape and marks on this, just showing how it was my everyday carry. About a year into shooting film, I decided to pick up a SLR, and the SLR I went with was the Praktica MTL5. Personally, I feel like I bought it a little bit too early, considering all I'd shot so far was automatic with no manual controls, and I didn't really understand very much. So I shot a couple images with this and sort of just left it on my shelf, but I used it recently and I'm starting to get a lot more confident using an SLR and understanding manual controls. Slowly, after a while, the Minolta Riva stopped being as reliable. The autofocus wouldn't work and it wouldn't fire a lot of the time, especially not with flash. So I decided to upgrade to a Ricoh RZ750. I really enjoyed using this camera. I thought it has a bunch of interesting features. It's got a zoom lens. It also has a pop-up flash, which you can also just turn off so you have the choice. This was very useful for understanding the choices that I had that would impact what kind of photos I wanted to take. The zoom lens definitely helped with my framing. It also was my first time using double exposures because it has an ME mode, and it was very fun to use. However, the images, it doesn't prioritize the shutter speed, so the image, and I was shooting like very nonchalantly when I was using this, so a lot of the images came out blurred, which then led to me buying my Canon SureShot Ace. This is probably my favourite camera that I've used so far. It's just a super reliable automatic point and shoot. It comes with the waist level viewfinder. It also has a little self-timer remote button. I can't say I've used that too much, but it's a cool feature to have. It also just seems to take really cool photos, and it's a camera that I carry around every day just in case I want a quick snapshot. But still, to this day, this is also probably a year old now of me using it, and it's still probably the most reliable camera I have. Really happy with the images that it produces. And then about 6 months ago I made a bold decision to get into a new format because I felt like I had exhausted a lot of 35mm options. So I decided to buy myself the Mamiya RB67. There's a lot of discourse online about this camera being a great camera, and I can definitely agree with that. It's very daunting and it's very obtrusive, and to even begin shooting 120 film is a very scary prospect, but I think it really took me out of my comfort zone, and I'm always really excited to shoot things with this. It's nice to want to use it, and I'm really happy with the sheer quality on 120 film and the images that it provides. I'm looking forward to shooting a lot more in the future. I've only used it a small bit, mainly just because of the size, and unfortunately I don't have a studio. But I'm looking forward to shooting more portraiture on this. I recently shot for some behind the scenes of a fashion runway show, and the Praktica, unfortunately, it really let me down. I'll showcase one of the images now. The dial began to stick. If the shutter speed went to anything higher than 4, then the lens would just not flick back up. And this camera became available right about that time. This is the Contax 139 Quartz. I am incredibly happy with this camera. It's probably one of the best decisions I've made for photography. I just love the images it produces. I love how easy it is to use, how compact it is, especially compared to stuff like the Praktica. I also have a Carl Zeiss lens on this at the minute, which really helps. I've loved taking this to events, just discovering more of what an SLR can do, because I didn't really get to use the Praktica's full potential, I don't feel like. So I hope you enjoyed that brief overview into my camera collection. Hopefully you'll be getting to see what comes out of these cameras very soon, and I'm looking forward to making more videos about them and about photography on this channel.